Alright everyone, now it's time for the occult video number 365. Scientology is a cult. It's not genuinely a cult or even really spiritual. It was originally LRonHubbard's piggy bank more than anything else, but we'll be speaking at depth about some of the strange meanderings of Scientology. It's funny because I think it was Tom Cruise actually was mentioned a few days ago with regards to the use of antidepressants. People are like, well, he was right after all. He got ridiculed and almost lost his career back when he said antidepressants were bad years ago. And I was thinking, dude, a lot of people suggested that. Every fucking hippie suggested it. Every off-the-grid liver suggested it. I suggested it many years ago as well. It wasn't really that out there of a belief if you weren't part of the lamestream lemming consensus. They're giving him credit for being a broken clock, basically. And this has happened before. I would like to point out some of the beliefs of Scientology. First, that the world was created by Xenu, which is a volcano-dwelling or volcano-entrapped being that currently lives on another planet. It's a little bit like the spookier side of Mormonism that the Mormon missionaries that show up to your house don't mention. You know, the whole part about the Elohim Council and dwelling on planet Kolob and things like that. Really what it is a cult, though. Scientology employs deliberately false material, number one. Psychological tactics, number two. And number three, fake technology in order to create sort of an aura, an atmosphere of enlightenment. And then they rope-a-dope people in with the idea of gaining access to their money. And LRonHubbard did very well because of this. That's basically what it boils down to. Now, when you're looking at Hubbard, you're seeing someone who did have an interest in the occult. That's definitely true. He wasn't a dumb man. He was, academically speaking, he was rather gifted. He was very intelligent. Hubbard was effectively a sci-fi writer. Very much like Joseph Smith of Mormonism. Joseph Smith was known for years before he wrote the Book of Mormon, and he did write it. I'll get into why that is as well tangential to this. He was known for telling spooky stories constantly. He was also known as a window-watching pervert, actually. He liked to watch young girls undress and shower through their windows. He was a weirdo. We know that he wrote the Book of Mormon as opposed to translating it because, of course, the original edition is in Old English. If you're translating something in a contemporary fashion, you wouldn't translate it into Old English. You would translate it into contemporary 19th century English. People overlooked this at the time. Of course, that was for effect in order to sell more copies. And when it didn't sell enough copies, eventually he ends up dead. A mob kills him, actually, in a prison. With LRonHubbard, gifted sci-fi writer, topical understanding of the occult. And much like with Anton LaVey, he has something in common. I'll explain that too. He decided to create a religion effectively as a corporate maneuver, effectively as a way to make money. And it was basically just his cash cow. LaVey did this. LaVey took Might is Right by Ragnar Redbeard. He had a genuine interest in and understanding of aspects of the spiritual, as well as philosophy, history, and all these things. It's sort of like these people are like French courtesans from the 1700s. You dabble in a little bit of everything so that you're conversational in a number of languages, in a number of skills, and then you show up at the court and you're so interesting and all the chicks are hanging off of you and, you know, there's no bathroom, so you're watching them shit in the hallway. Must have been a real turn-on for them back in the 1760s, by the way. And the king says, well, you seem to know an awful lot about the world. Maybe you've been alive for 500 years. Do you have any magical elixir that you can sell me? And stuff like that. LRonHubbard, Joseph Smith, Anton LaVey, and others effectively just took the idea of fiction and psychodrama, theater, basically. And theater is talking about as well within the occult, the more genuine side of the occult quite frequently, especially Shakespeare. You take all these things and you sort of distill them down, and you're creating a pseudo-religion, in Scientology's case, more clearly occult than even with Mormonism or Satanism. And you make money off of it. You are taking things that are offered by mainstream religion anyway. Here's the part that's not a grift. Mainstream religion offers you a floor show. It offers you the organ processional and the ritual behavior, communion and ablutions and all of these prayers and stuff. And really, they don't really have a genuine, in many cases, canonical connection even with the original practice of the religion. It offers a placebo, and it gives it to you. It's the placebo of the masses more than anything else. And they make money doing this. In the more modern sense, when we're looking at Satanism, Mormonism, certainly Scientology, there's an attempt to more directly extort people. There's also a much more theatrical bent to it. Satanism is the greatest example of it. It's all completely psychodrama. It's literally over-the-top Halloween spookiness for a reason. It draws more people in. You make more money on selling $200 membership cards. It's basically what you're buying is a piece of paper that shows that you are upright and intellectually superior to all of those fucking theists out there. It's basically the Church of Satan's grift at this point. There are other movements that have replicated this success more or less. Scientology, though, goes far further. If you join Mormonism and you leave Mormonism, you may be castigated by your Orthodox community. But when you've moved across the country, you're not going to see Mormon missionaries stalking you around an airport. With Scientology, there is a direct attempt to do this, and that's because there is psychological damage willfully done to new members in order to try to extort them effectively. They'll take money from people, and they'll hammer it into their minds, basically through every psychological tactic known to man. LRonHubbard was aware of these things. He wasn't dabbling with the OTO for no reason. By the way, these groups can be harmful. If you don't know what you're doing, you should not join them. You can read their literature, but be careful of self-professed leaders. Be careful of groups that sound suspiciously like Occult, but don't use that moniker for themselves. Scientology has been known to take its agents and sue people in a wanton manner for defaming their religious order and stupid shit like that. They've been known to troll online. You remember Project Chanology? Yeah, that was a good time when Scientology was trying to silence its victims. A bunch of people from fucking 4chan with Guy Fawkes masks showed up and completely owned them. I think they were black faxing their offices at one point too, which is, I don't know if that still works these days. Fax machines are kind of a relic at this point, but that ink costs a lot of money. And that was good. I remember that. It was very, very fun at the time. I would just warn people, when you hear that Scientology can cure the little negative energy aliens in your head and stupid shit like this, the reason that it sounds stupid is because it is. And it's basically LRonHubbard's adaptation of his sci-fi world, which he was very inventive and intelligent at creating. He created very wonderful fiction. He took that and realized, hey, some people are so into this, what if I went further and claimed some of this shit was real? And I create basically Star Trek style movie props, and I can convince them that they can read the metachlorians and shit in their blood and stupid shit like that. And then I use psyop tactics. He had a topical understanding, it seems, of these tactics. I can get people to fucking will me their entire mansion. I can make millions of dollars. What the hell am I continuing to write books for? I'll just write one more and then I'll make a church out of it. Again, it's just a more fiscally successful, even more openly corporatized variant of the Church of Satan. Really, it is satanic when you think about it. A person, very individualistic, with the talent, built a self-serving pseudo-religion in order to make millions of dollars. Well, he lived the dream. He did as he would, did he not? Effectively, LRonHubbard was basically a Satanist. That's about all. Peace out.